This week I've been davening with the Siddur of Eliyahu Moshe, a Zimbalist who was killed in Gaza on Tes Sivan, Al Kiddush Hashem, and I've been davening with his beautiful Siddur and thinking of him with just appreciation of the way he lived his life, tremendous appreciation. I am very moved by the Siddur, and it gives me an ability to connect to his family through the spiritual and to Hashem in a way that I haven't been able to connect during my davening before. So one of the ideas that I learned from this Siddur, it has beautiful explanations, is that when we recite the Shema, and this week's Parshas Eikev has the second paragraph of the Shema, that we should have in mind the 10 commandments which are hinted to in the recitation of the Shema. So I'll very quickly say them now, and then when we study this on Shabbos, I'll go over it more slowly. So when a person says the Shema, the word Shema, you should have in mind Anochi Hashem Elokecha, the first commandment of I am Hashem your God, and also afterwards you should have in mind the next commandment of Lo Yeh Lecha, that you should not take any other gods. So when you say the Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, there's one God, have in mind those two commandments. When you say V'ahavta, you shall love, you should have in mind Lo Sisa, that you should not take God's name in vain. When you say Uchsavtem, that you shall write, you should have in mind that since you're writing this on the doorpost of your house, you should have in mind not to covet. You shouldn't covet somebody else's house. Lo tachmod. When it says the pasuk in the verse V'asafta digancha, that you should gather in your grain, that's your grain. So have in mind Lo tignov, do not steal. When it says in the pasuk V'badatem mehira, that if you don't follow this, you'll be perish quickly. Have in mind Lo tirtzach, do not kill. When it says L'man yirbu yimechem, and if you do this, you'll have a long life, you should have in mind Kabedas avicha v'asimecha, honor your father and mother, because they are also you're promised a long life. And when it says Lo sasuru acharelu v'avchem, that you should not follow after your hearts and your eyes, you should have in mind the prohibition of Lo sinaf, do not commit adultery. And when you say Man tizkiru, that you shall remember the day you left Egypt, you should have in mind Zachor es Yom HaShabbos, remember the Shabbos. And finally, when it says Ani Hashem Elokechem at the end of the Shema, I am Hashem your God, and you should have in mind the prohibition of that you should not bring a false witness against your friend Lotana V'reyacha. So these are the ideas that when a person recites the Shema, a person should have in mind the Aseres HaDibros, because all of the Shema hints to the Aseres HaDibros.